but just to start, wouldn't mind your initial thoughts on the game, how you felt like your team performed over the course of the 90 minutes and change.
Yeah, I think the format of the competition is a strange one in the sense that ordinarily you strip away the game finished aside. I think we would have been really pleased with a point in what is a very difficult set of circumstances, and there were large parts of the performance that were really strong. And I said to the players at the end that today is a day that I will certainly choose to focus on the positives, because I feel there were so many. I feel like we've gone toe to toe with a really good team, and as you guys well know, this is a team that is fighting for their lives. They've not started the season well. There's a lot of pressure that surrounds their circumstances. So we faced an opponent today that was absolutely desperate to win, and I think we were more than good value for the draw, and certainly I don't think anyone would have had any complaints had we won that game. I think the manner of us losing it late on, or losing the 3 points late on, was frustrating, but again I'll reiterate that what got us to that point, to be 3-2 up, was a very complete performance. I think we were the Minnesota that we see so often, a real threat on the counter-attack, as you saw in the first goal, a real threat from more organised play on the second goal, a real threat from set plays on the third goal, and we defended really well for large periods. But I think the most pleasing periods were the long spells that we controlled the game for in the second half, and I think it's a real shame that we weren't able to continue what felt like a very comfortable period of the game through to the 90-95 minutes. But again, there was so much good stuff there, and I think to have put ourselves in the position that we're in, having 4 points at this stage, and 2 really good performances is ultimately where I want to be. I want to make sure this team continues to grow, we continue to build momentum, and ideally we get through. If we don't, I want to be in a really good place come Wednesday night and feel really good about the team, where it is, and what we're able to do in the closing stages of MLS.
Questions here in the room? Okay, Coach, just a couple for me. Just you talked about continuing to grow and going into Wednesday night. Now coming out with the 1 point tonight, what does that do? How does that affect the team's outlook, I guess, looking ahead at San Luis on Wednesday for the third match?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether 7 points gets you through. It may well do, depending on the results over the course of the coming days. But for us to target 7 points and then ultimately get 7 points would be a real achievement, and the format of the competition is such that it's incredibly difficult to get through, and you'll see some very good teams that have put in some very accomplished performances over the course of 3 games, not progressing the competition. And I said to the players at the beginning, we have every intention of going through. Every game we will take with the utmost seriousness. Every game we will show a real desperation to win, but ultimately, given the nature of the competition, there's no guarantees that 3 good performances and 3 good results even gets you through. So we want to make sure that the team feels in really good shape come Wednesday night, and I think what we've done over the first 2 games would suggest that is extremely possible.
Thanks. That's your question here in the middle.
Hello, Coach. What a game it was tonight. I think it was the best game in this tournament so far. And you still got 1 more game. You got 4 points. You play against San Luis. You're gonna keep the same players, and also Rosales, he's 100% healthy.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't want that to be lost on anyone. It was a phenomenal game in a phenomenal atmosphere, and I think that's what this competition brings. And for me as a head coach, what a phenomenal experience to play against one of the biggest sides in North America, with tradition and the history and everything that goes with that, and the atmosphere. And it's a really good experience for the players tonight, in the sense that we, given where we are, want to play big games between now and the end of the year. We've got a possible domestic cup final. We want to get through this competition. We want to go far in the playoffs. So for us to have an early feel of a big game with real consequence against a big team with a big following, that was it can only put us in a good position, and I really enjoyed that experience, aside from how it finished. And I'm sure the players, when they wake up tomorrow, will feel the same. Come Wednesday night, we will focus on making sure we have some freshness. We'll focus on making sure that we can perform from a physical perspective to the same level, and we will do what we've done, which is work our way through 16, 17 players, all of whom are very capable of contributing. And in the case of Rosales, yes, fit and made a good impact when he came on.
Cool. Come down to the front on your left.
Hi, Coach. What seemed like a America home game almost, because of just the fan base and the following. How does your team come into a place full and drown out the noise and things like that from the fan base.
Yeah, that was a big part of why I felt this was such an important experience at this stage of the season for us, because it was, not a full stadium, but a really hostile crowd. It felt like the game had a real edge to it, very different to some of the atmospheres that you'll find yourself in general league play, and I wanted the players to rise to the occasion, and I felt we really did rise to the occasion, and we showed why we are where we are in the table. We showed why we're such a difficult team to play against, and we did that against a very, very capable team with some very, very good players. So when I looked at this game, I wanted to win, I wanted it to be a part of us going through, but ultimately I wanted the players to show that they are capable of competing with I would say the next bracket of teams up from us, and Club América certainly represent that, certainly one of, if not the strongest side in this competition, and I'm sure when I look back tomorrow in the colder light of the analysis, I'll feel really, really pleased with a lot of what we saw tonight.
Okay, we'll come one more down here in the front, over on your right.
Coach, this tournament for many teams, right, has helped MLS teams get ready for the playoffs. How much do you think it can help your team?
Yeah, exactly that, and that's how we saw that today. It was what I hope is the start of 3 months where every couple of weeks we're playing really big, consequential games that will be determining in how good we feel about the season in 3 months' time, and we are one of the few teams, I think, in America that is just about fighting on all four fronts. We're in the hunt for our conference, we're in the hunt for the Supporters' Shield. We'll see on Wednesday night whether we're still in the hunt for this trophy, and we're in the Domestic Cup semi-final. So I want to be a part of something that entails playing this type of game often. So for us to have started what is 3 months now at the business end of the season in the way that we did tonight, I was really pleased, and we've at least demonstrated that we can go toe to toe with the top teams, and that has to translate now to week in MLS.
Coach, just one more, if you wouldn't mind, before we get you out of here. You talked about the atmosphere playing in front of the crowd. Just talk a little about the response that your team showed. I mean, took a couple of serious body blows from Mexico, and they came back 3 times, and each time your team responded and raised their level. Just obviously not the results you wanted, but how did you feel about the response that your team showed there?
Yeah, we have a real character in the dressing room. I think teams that play against us will recognise that we're a difficult team to play against for so many reasons, but one of them is that we have real fight, real spirit, real togetherness, and I think to a man we have that never say die attitude, and it really is not an easy atmosphere here tonight, and I think it would have been very easy to let the tide turn really strongly and us find ourselves in a position where we concede consecutive goals very quickly. And as much as it's been a bit of a theme for us this year, conceding late goals, we are so often in a position where we are winning late on, and I'm really proud of the fact that we can do that so regularly. We've improved significantly this year in being able to close games out, and albeit it feels it's tough to take tonight, I know this year is a real step forward in the sense that where we've drawn over the course of the last couple of months, they're games that we lose last year, and that is a big progression for us, certainly in the circumstances that we find ourselves in tonight. So ultimately I'm really proud of the players, and I'll definitely take the positives forward.
Thank you very much for the time. Safe travels back to Minnesota, and best of luck on
Thanks guys, thank you.
Thank you.